Pledging a fairer and greener Europe to win over sceptical Greens and Socialists, Ursula von der Leyen has made her pitch to the European Parliament. MEPs will have the final say tonight on whether the centre-right German defence minister should become the first female president of the European Commission. Well, ahead of that make-or-break vote, von der Leyen promised a Green Deal for Europe within her first 100 days in office. And she also called on the fragmented Parliament to rally behind her.
If we are united on the inside, nobody will divide us from the outside. Our most pressing challenge is keeping our planet healthy. This is the greatest responsibility and opportunity of our times. I want Europe to become the first climate-neutral continent in the world by 2050.
But many Green and Socialist MEPs are sceptical about whether Ursula von der Leyen's pledges and whether she's the right person for the job. Well, ahead of her speech this morning, Jack Parrock went out to gauge the mood in Strasbourg.
The candidate versus the European Parliament. Ursula von der Leyen doing everything she can to convince members of the European Parliament to vote her through to become the European Commission President. But while she sent letters to a number of the main political groupings declaring her support for their positions, she's still not clear. She's telling the Liberal Renew group they will be given power in her commission. And while she promises the Socialists she'll be tough on rule of law concerns, German Socialists say they're still not convinced.
Some of the ideas are not new, some of the ideas she cannot deliver, some of the ideas has to be delivered by Council and Member States, and it's nice that she supports the idea, but it doesn't help at all. And so it is something more, yes, but whether it's sufficient, I don't know yet.
The Socialist Prime Minister from Portugal, however, tweeting in multiple languages to try to persuade the MEPs to approve her. And while the Greens and the European left have vowed to vote her down, those from her own political family are standing up for her.
She's a very energetic woman, highly capable, respected across party lines. She knows what she's talking about, and of course she is a truly convinced and convincing European.
Von der Leyen says she'll resign her position now as German Defence Minister whether her nomination is approved or not. The vote is likely to be tight, and a slim margin to approve her to become EU Commission President could lead to a 5-year term plagued by questions about her legitimacy. If the MEPs vote her down, EU leaders will have 1 month to propose someone else. Jack Parrock, Euronews, Strasbourg.
Well, our political editor, Darren McCaffrey, has also been speaking to MPs, and he joins me now live from Strasbourg. Darren, how are things looking for Ursula von der Leyen? Are MEPs still expressing their disappointment and dissatisfaction, rather?
They are to a degree, Totes. I think it's a pretty tense afternoon here in the European Parliament because whatever happens, I think, with this result tonight, it is likely to be close. There is a growing sense of a mood that she will make it over the line, that 374 figure, the absolute majority that she needs. But as you say, not everyone has been won over. In fact, the Greens have just issued a statement in the last half an hour or so in which they say they will not be backing her, despite the prospect of her becoming the first woman president of the Commission. They say that her appointment process was used to select her in a backroom deal cobbled together to appease the far right in the countries of Central Europe where the rule of law is under threat and democratic standards are at risk. So where do we stand this afternoon? Well, clearly the Greens are against her, as are the far left, and it seems the ECR as well, the European Group of Conservative Reformists. But we would expect that she's going to get most of the support from her own party, the EPP. It looks like the Socialists and Democrats, the second biggest party, the centre-left grouping, is also largely on board, and Renew as well, the old Aldi group that's mainly full of Emmanuel Macron's MEPs, look like they're going to back her as well. So as I said, it's going to be close, Totes. But I think the expectation at least is that she'll succeed. But it is a private ballot at the end of the day. It is all done in secret, and if someone decides to back her in public, doesn't necessarily mean they'll do it when voting begins at 6 p.m.
Well, one thing that is certain, and that is one of her compatriots, the man who's the EU's top civil servant, Martin Selmayr, has announced that he's stepping down. What more can you tell us about that?
Yeah, well, Martin Selmayr has been a pretty dominant figure in the EU Commission over the last couple of years. He was Jean-Claude Juncker's chief of staff. He then got promoted pretty quickly to the head of the Commission's civil service at the end of last year, rather controversially. But the feeling here is, amongst MEPs, is they cannot abide or have essentially two Germans at the top of the Commission running things, that if Ursula von der Leyen does win this contest, that she cannot be in charge with Martin Selmayr there. So he has decided preemptively, I think, but seeing where the wind was blowing, to decide to step aside. He says that he's going to leave the Commission at the end of next week. He has been a very dominating figure behind the scenes in European politics. He will certainly be missed within that Commission. He's also a very controversial character, but one that looks like he's taking a political hit to try and help Ursula von der Leyen get that top job.
Darren McCaffrey there with the latest on Strasbourg. Thank you.